Aberdeenshire Scotland is a place of incredible beauty, a place that is rich in history. My family and I recently moved into the Aberdeenshire area, and during the first few months of 2021, during the COVID-19 lockdown, we set about exploring some of the places that are close by. We'd love to take some time to share these places with you. This is where we live, and this is our family. We will share 10 places with you. Each location is shown in no particular order, but I will tell you that I have saved our favourite place till the very end. I hope that you enjoy. First up, we have Corse Castle. This 16th century small ruin sits kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's one of those places that's relatively hidden. If you blinked, you could easily miss it. But that's one of the things we enjoyed about it. The fact that there weren't a bunch of tourists everywhere, that we got to explore this place and kind of be there by ourselves. It sits above a beautiful stream, or as you say here in Scotland, burn, and that burn is called Corse Burn. If you have the time and if you're in the area, we would encourage you to stop and to explore this beautiful little hidden gem. Next we have Fyvie Castle. Fyvie Castle sits on the outskirts of the township of Fyvie. This impressive estate has beautiful grounds that are perfect for exploration. Part of those grounds includes a lake, or a loch as you say here, that you drive by on the way in. By the way, it's worth noting that the road in is very narrow. The original parts of the castle date back to the 13th century. As you can see though, the building itself is a lot newer than just that. It's a rather impressive building. If you enjoy seeing functional castles that are still together and not ruins, this is totally worth a visit. If you do happen to visit Fyvie, you should consider also checking out Gight Castle. We managed to do both locations in one afternoon. The car park for Gight is not far from the township of Fyvie, and in a lot of ways it's very different from Fyvie Castle, yet it is so beautiful. The walk that you take from the car park down to the ruins of Gight Castle is about 1 kilometre. The walk itself though is peaceful and it rewards you with beautiful views. As you can see, the castle sits itself in a beautiful position. It was built back in the 1500s, but it's been uninhabited since the late 1700s. It's quite crumbled down, so I would encourage you, if you do go adventuring into the ruins, to be careful. One place that we've really enjoyed visiting often due to its proximity and its beauty is Fetternear. Fetternear House, or the Bishop's Palace, is what you're seeing here in this shot. It's a broken down old building that dates back to the 1500s. It's rather grand, but the building itself sits on some larger grounds that includes a lovely loop that you can walk around that takes you through woods and down by the River Don. It's a relatively flat place, so it's great for walking and for relaxing. Not too far from Fetternear, you'll find a place called Castle Fraser. Now, I'd love to be able to tell you why it's called Castle Fraser and not Fraser Castle like most other castles, but I have no idea. The castle and its grounds are large and stately. There's over 300 acres here to explore. It's very easy to access, there's great parking, and that's probably because it's run by the National Trust for Scotland. You can find more information about the castle and how you can access it on their website. It's uncertain if the castle was first constructed in the 1400s or the 1500s, but it was definitely developed over the years, including the very impressive walled garden that is worth checking out. The next place on our list is Tolquhon Castle. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. I really have no idea if I'm mispronouncing it. This is a fairly large ruined castle, but it's one of those places that once you start to get around and explore it, you can imagine how it used to look and how grand it used to look. This particular castle dates back to the 15th century, but it hasn't been used as a residence for the last 300 years. If you look carefully in the distance, even in this shot, you can get glimpses of Benihee, one of the famous mountains here in Aberdeenshire. Dunnideer Castle is a ruin that is in far greater disrepair than the ruins of the last castle we looked at. Going there, I didn't have great expectations about this visit being anything spectacular. To reach the castle just outside of Inch, you park the car and you walk up a relatively short but very steep trail. Once we made it to the top, we were blown away by the absolutely spectacular views of the Shire. There's uncertainty about the origins of this crumbled down building, but it is believed that this was a prehistoric hill fort dating back to sometime around 250 BC. If you're feeling fit enough for the climb, I would definitely encourage you checking this place out. It would be hard to list out the places to visit in Aberdeenshire without including Dunnottar Castle. Dunnottar Castle is close to the seaside town of Stonehaven, which itself is very beautiful. Dunnottar Castle is an epic ruin. The piece of land that the castle sits on is what perhaps makes it so dramatic. Usually, this place is swarming with tourists. The remains of the buildings that you're seeing in these shots are dated to around the 15th and 16th century, but the site is definitely much older than that. In fact, there's ties from this particular place to the famous or infamous William Wallace. But because of the lockdown, one of the things that we really enjoyed was getting to explore this place in a very quiet state. This place is popular for good reason and well worth a visit. Well, this may come as a surprise to you, but the next place is not a castle and it's not a ruined castle, it's Newburgh Beach. The beach, located just north of Aberdeen, is on the mouth of a river, and it happens to be the home of a very large, as you can see here, seal colony. This was a great place for our kids to run around and to explore. They really enjoyed, in particular, going up and down the sand dunes. The sea, the river, the sand dunes, the seals, all of it makes this place a very special place to go, to explore, and to visit. Just further north lies our very favourite place in Aberdeenshire, and the last place on our list, Slains Castle. This is actually technically the new Slains Castle. The old Slains Castle lies a little further south. This epic 16th century sprawling ruin is perched on dramatic cliffs that overlook the beautiful North Sea. In fact, it's believed that Bram Stoker, who invented the infamous character Dracula, did that while staying in this castle. One of the reasons we love this place is because it's not very touristy. It's just sitting there waiting to be explored, and there's a lot that can be explored. If you would like to visit, I would encourage you to do two things. One is to park in Cruden Bay and walk up from there, because the walk will reward you with beautiful views along the way. The second thing is to take care near the edges of the cliffs. There's a lot of sheer drops all around the castle, so you just need to be careful. It is these beautiful cliffs, the ocean itself, and the scale of the building that all make this one spectacular place to go and to visit. Well, that's it from us for now. I'll include some information about these places in the description. I hope that this video inspires you to get out and to explore, even if you aren't fortunate enough to live here in Aberdeenshire. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.